Welcome back to the 8:30 show. Got a full episode coming at you today. Got a few topics going on.
The first topic is KTLA dropping the M bomb on X.
Oh, really?
That came up. I sent you an article on it.
Yeah. Let's check it out real quick. Let's check out this article, see what they had to
This is
say.
from Yahoo News.
Yeah. Says the tweet when they tweeted April 11th, and I guess users saw it on X, screenshotted it, and began sharing it
Yeah.
before KTLA could delete it afterwards.
Yeah.
Um,
I saw it in the blogs. That's how I got wind of it. And I was
yeah.
like, is this real? So I started looking, and sure enough, everywhere. It was everywhere and people were talking about it. My comment to that was, somebody's getting fired and they're gaslighting us saying whatever
Yeah.
excuse that they gave. That's
Well,
just my opinion.
here's the excuse right here. KTLA experienced a technical error while adding language filters to our social media accounts, resulting in an offensive word being accidentally shared. We are
Gaslighting.
appalled and apologize that this has occurred. Yeah, I take that as a bullshit response.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. How is it that that specific word, just that one word, made it out?
yeah. If it would have been like the F bomb,
Yeah,
shit, ass, whatever.
whatever, but that word specifically and the way things work here in America lately,
Yeah,
people aren't afraid to say how they feel about anyone who's brown, black, whatever, like Asian,
yeah.
they don't care. They're just like spitting them words out there like it's okay to say.
It's as if KTLA was trying to test the waters and see if they can get this under the radar
No.
with nigga.
No, I don't think it was that they were testing the waters.
I know, I'm
I
just
think
joking.
somebody just decided, you know what? I'm going to say it and fuck it, and it got out and now they're over here like, we're so sorry. Like
Yeah,
it was a filter and
yeah.
the fuck out of
You
here.
know what it was? You know what it was? What was April 11th? Whatever day that was, it was probably somebody who runs the social media account for X was probably having a bad day. It was like, you know what? Fuck these niggas. I don't give a fuck. And hit send. And when they were trying to like
No, but
go
it was
back
just
and
the
delete it.
one word. It wasn't like, okay, so you heard about the ladies going up in space recently, just this past week,
Yeah.
and Wendy's went and said, "Can we send her back?" Talking about Katy Perry,
Oh, that's fucked up. Wendy's with the smooth burn.
but it wasn't,
Yeah.
like they didn't have to curse, they didn't have
Yeah.
to do nothing. They just said, "Can we send her back?" But this was
Yeah.
blatant.
Yeah, there speaking on that real quick, there's a couple of conspiracies going on about the ladies taking the rocket to low Earth orbit,
Oh, that they were at Universal Studios.
backlot chilling, drinking lattes and eating scones.
Did they say what was it? They used the same set as the moon landing.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just updated, they moved some rocks around.
Right.
Put that bush over there.
And a
That
lot
was
of people are pissed about it too because they're like, everybody's struggling and we're over here watching these millionaire, gazillionaire people going up in space and no one gives a fuck.
yeah.
I've
Well,
seen that a lot.
to play devil's advocate on that, um, that is the way that commercial flight happens. When airplanes first came about, it was just the wealthy that could do it before it became something that common folk can do.
Hmm.
Will space be that way? Yeah, probably not in my lifetime. You know, um, it'll be way down in the future.
I'm
But I don't.
dropping a conspiracy in three, two,
Hold on,
one.
hold on, hold on. But this. I mean, this is how it happens.
No, I get what you're saying.
Not saying that Katy Perry and them are the ones that are going to push that forward, but I'm just saying to get a flight to go into low Earth orbit is like a few $1 million.
Yeah.
Common folk can't do that.
No, I get that.
I don't think common folk will be able to do it until it's somewhere comparable
I
to
think
a
common
flight.
folk don't give a fuck at this point. No one cares about what the rich are doing
No,
as
absolutely.
much as before because everybody is struggling.
Yeah.
The homelessness is at an all-time high. You know, I mean, I got to bring it up. The eggs are fucking high,
Well,
you know.
according to the president Donald Trump, that I just
Who
saw
gives a
recently in
fuck?
an article, that he said the egg prices are as low as they've ever been, even
I can't
lower. We
believe you
have
just did
more
that.
lower
Stop it.
eggs.
Stop
The
it.
eggs were plentiful.
How the fuck would he know? He ain't shopped for eggs ever in his life.
Because when
He
I
has people
send
do that shit and he don't even look at the bill. He just checks it off, writes it off, and they write a check.
when I
He
send
he ain't
Lupita to
never
go and get
not Lupita,
to
Dave.
get the eggs, she comes back with 2 dozen eggs.
He don't know what the fuck. Like
Yeah, that's my Donald Trump. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress, but that's my Donald Trump.
that man doesn't know what eggs cost in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s or today. If he knows now it's cuz somebody had to tell him.
Yeah,
He's never purchased eggs on his own. So I why would he know? Why would he care?
because his staff has
Stop.
told him.
Stop.
They've told me that the egg
Stop it.
prices.
So yeah.
But that's how. But like I said, back rolling back. All jokes aside, rolling back to the space flight. That is typically how it happens.
Okay, so here's my conspiracy. All right.
They ain't go up there. They was chilling. Fox,
You gonna let me say it?
go ahead, say it, say it.
All right. So my conspiracy is how you just mentioned that, you know, the wealthy were the ones who could afford to get on airplanes back in the day. So the wealthy are on these whatever that took them into space, and that's like the next type of flight that we'll be taking, and it'll be faster versus what's happening now where airplanes are falling apart. And that's to show you that, you know, they're ancient and they don't work anymore. And here's the new upgraded shit. This is what you should be flying
The new
in.
hotness.
The new hotness. Yes. And that's the conspiracy. So all these planes are falling apart on the fucking, what is it called? When they're taking off, the jetway, the runway. They're showing us that these planes are just falling apart, you know. And is it a coincidence? Like, is it a coincidence that all of a sudden these women went up in space and they're like all flipping around and whatever and doing their thing? And is this what we are looking forward to, just like the wealthy looked back then, you know?
Did they go into space or did they just go into
No,
low
I don't
Earth
give a
or
fuck.
orbit?
I feel like maybe it's just bullshit.
Yeah,
Who cares?
Well,
I don't.
yeah.
I honestly, like, I think it's cool for the common man to be able to experience that, not some ultra gazillionaire, because they have the money to do that. And like, I really don't care. You know, now if Joe Schmo did it, like, I'd be like, oh, that's awesome, you know? But because it's them, to me, I just feel like, well, that's just you throwing your money to the wind like normal.
Yeah. Well, that's what I heard. That when it came to flight with planes, it was first it was the wealthy, then it slowly trickled down to be more affordable for the common man to do it. Same thing that'll happen with the space programs, these private space programs, but at the same time, it's not going to happen until we can figure out a cheaper way to get off the planet to do that.
I think
Before,
they have figured it out.
well, when I say figure it out, I mean the amount of money it takes to fuel these things. That's the problem.
I understand that. And I think they figured it out. I don't think that they don't have the solution. I think they have it already, but they're not going to tell us. You know what I mean? They're not going to tell us. I mean, when do they ever tell us anything? We find out later, and then years and years and years, decades later, we find out they always had it, but they just didn't want normal people to be able to get on it or whatever. They didn't want the ghetto to get ghettoing. You know what I mean? Like,
They didn't want Spirit Airlines in,
well,
in,
it's
in
crazy
space.
because, I think back to some of the things that I've read throughout my life. And one of the things is segregation. You
Hmm.
had, a certain type of a group of people living in one area. Meanwhile, another type of group of people lived in a different area. And that's just how they separated everybody,
Hmm.
and they do it with everything. It's done with everything.
Well, that's what's going on right now with just the classism of America right now. I mean, there is no middle
Yeah.
class,
No.
so it's either wealthy or poor.
Yep.
The middle class has been kind of erased, especially in high cost living states like California, where we're at. Um, yeah, the average median home is $1.6 million. Who's working a regular job able to afford a regular shack, and it costs you 1.6 million,
I mean, you saw Al Bundy in his house in the 90s,
and he was a
and
shoe
a
salesman
shoe salesman.
and financial breadwinner, because Peggy didn't do nothing but
Nope.
smoke cigarettes and sit on the couch and watch her
And eat
shows.
bonbons.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And the kids went to school and
Hmm.
did whatever. But yeah,
That dream is long gone,
long gone.
long
I've
gone.
been saying that though. The American dream is done. It's over. It's not what it used to be. My parents bought houses, your parents bought houses, and they were in the 20 to 60,000 range.
Hmm.
And now these houses are worth more than $1 million,
Hmm.
It's crazy.
I remember I seen an ad that somebody posted. It was on the socials. It was around the time, excuse me, around the time like my grandmother, excuse me, where my grandmother was, you know, in her 20s, 30s, whatever. And the ad was like, get a 2 bedroom home for $5,000. And I'm like, yeah, they don't make that no more.
Well, no, because, back then, I mean, it just
Get a car for a
inflation.
thousand
No,
dollars.
but like inflation, it was, the price of the dollar was different. You were making cents on the dollar an hour,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Many, many, many years ago, and that's just grown and grown and grown. But at this point, it doesn't even matter
Yeah,
what you make. You can't afford to live here.
yeah,
We were lucky to be able to buy our home,
yeah,
but let me just tell you, the door shut as soon as we signed the
yeah.
papers. As soon as we signed the papers, it was over. And we struggled to find something. Not that we couldn't find anything. It was just,
It was slim pickings.
yeah. And what we were looking for was, they were asking for too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're still asking too much right
Yeah.
now for
Yeah.
things. Because I still look at the market just to see,
Same.
because I'm curious to see
Yeah.
where the market is, and it's still outrageous. And I don't see how people can do it. Like, to do it now, you're gonna have to have multiple incomes, have multiple family members with you.
Correct.
Everybody's got to be on the same page. Everybody's got to
Correct.
be on the same one and twos.
Do you live with your parents? Hell yeah, I do.
Yeah.
That's the era we're in right now,
Yeah.
because living with your parents, you have no choice. You have no
A
choice.
lot of people.
And, don't feel shame for it. I'd rather live with my parents than go live with some stranger where I'm going to have issues and all drama. Like,
Mhm.
I've seen shit like that. Like, I'd rather live with my mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
R.I.P. mom.
Speaking on that, I want to switch it up now to something else that I saw. It was a statement that I saw on social media, and it had to do with success. And that statement was w- basically, what is success? What does success look like today? And I look at success. And a lot of people, I feel, look at success in a different lens than I do. I feel like they look at success from the perspective of what they see on social media.
Yes, I agree with that.
And they see, to me, what I've always called social media is your highlight reel. You're only showing your wins. You're not showing the struggle. You're not
Yeah.
showing the loss, the hardship, the agony, the to get to where you can show a
Yeah.
highlight reel. And so I just want to let people know that success isn't just having a nice, six-figure income, a nice luxury automobile, having a 4 bedroom, 3 bath, 4 bath house. Success to me looks like this. You can pay all your bills. You can pay for everything that you need in your living situation. All your bills are paid. You got food. You got a roof over your head. The
Hmm.
everything is
Yeah.
paid for, and you have a little bit of cash on the side to save or go and spend. Because I believe that people should treat themselves before you do any other major thing. Um, get your bills together. Do all that stuff first. Pay yourself as well, and then whatever you have left, either save it or buy or treat yourself something nice because you deserve it because you've earned it. You know, to me, that's being successful. Being successful is being responsible and having all your checks and balances in order. And I feel like a lot of people have strayed away from seeing that and now are just looking at, oh, I need the bag, I need the chain, I need these new jeans that cost three, four, five, $600, $10,000.
Balenciaga, Gucci,
Yeah,
Prada, Versace.
yeah. You know, I rather have, like I saw in this other post, I rather have $5,000 in a plastic bag than have uh, uh, a $5,000 bag with $100 in it.
I think success is in the eye of the beholder, just like beauty is. You know what I mean? It just depends on who you are and how you live,
Mm-hmm.
how you choose to live. I think social media has ruined young minds, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
into thinking, not all, but a lot,
Mm-hmm.
into thinking that success is driving a expensive foreign car,
Mm-hmm.
or having, the names I named,
Mm-hmm.
Versace, Prada, all of those things, Gucci,
Fendi.
Fendi. Yeah, having those things is
Yeah.
success. And a lot of these people that do those things don't even have a pot to piss in. They're pissing in someone else's pot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think, yes, social media has its good factors in it, but it also has the negatives. And the
Mm-hmm.
negatives are that these kids think they got to keep up with the Joneses and they really don't. And they won't learn until way later that none of that is important. I don't need
Correct.
a Louis Vuitton. I don't need any of that shit. I pour into my house. My money goes to my house in our household.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a house. I live in a house and I work for my house. And to me, that's success. I that's how I see it. Our cars are paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Do we drive a Mercedes and a BMW? No, I don't need that shit
But
because
it's
my
paid
cars are
off.
paid.
It ain't
I
no
don't have a
lease.
$1,000 note,
Yeah, it ain't a
to
lease.
impress people because I feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
to impress somebody, and I'm not in it to do that. What I
Yeah.
do spend my money on, I spend my money on, things like this, like Biggie Smalls over here. That's what I spend my
But
money
see,
on. But that's, to me, I can do that. You know what I mean? That's the success. I can
mm-hmm.
go and buy this Biggie for however much I bought him
Mm-hmm.
for. I could go buy whatever else I want because I can, not because I'm trying to do it for someone, but because I want it for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not over here flaunting to everybody like, look at what I got.
But see,
Hold on.
uh-huh.
And that's social media. And the thing is that no one's going to go on social media and, or there are people, they go on there and they're all like, boo hoo, I don't have enough to pay my rent. I don't have enough for this, or I don't have this, and I want to be like so and so, and I'm going to get there. And props to the people that do. But the thing is that when you do go on there and you say you want these things, here come the other people that are like, what the fuck you crying for? And
Yeah.
like talking shit to you. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But to me, success is however you feel like living.
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel like you need to impress your friends with the shit you buy, then so be it. But when you hit your 40s, let me tell you, you ain't going to be thinking like that no more.
Yeah. So
If you grow up.
what I want to circle back to what you said. Like you bought this biggie, you bought these things because, but that's what that's going back to what I'm saying. That's the part of splurging on you.
Correct.
That is the success part.
Correct.
To be able to do those things. If you want to go on vacations, you have the ability to do it. If you want to, whatever you want to spend your money on,
Yep.
after you've paid everything off, you've been responsible, you've taken care of business that you need to take care of. To me, that's success.
Adulthood is the worst hood ever.
Oh, it's worse than the meth hood.
My God.
But that's to me that's success. Someone having a lot of jewelry, someone having a lot of expensive clothes that you wear out, that now they hold no value. Um, that to me isn't real success. A car is a depreciated
But
asset.
again, I have to go back to, that's how you see it. They don't see it like that. We may see it differently. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you, but the people I'm talking to in this situation, in this topic, is not the people that can afford to do those things. It's the people that are struggling to try to do these things, to
Yeah.
try to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, you're never going to meet the Joneses. You're never every time you think you're catching up to the Joneses are 5 steps ahead of you. You should never chase
Yeah,
the
because the
Joneses.
Joneses got it like that.
Yeah.
The
They will
Joneses
always
got it
have
like that. Yeah, they always got it like that. You're still trying to catch up, and every time you think you're getting close, like he said, they're 5 steps ahead.
Yeah. So
And again, kudos to those who are able to do it.
absolutely, but I'm not speaking to them.
I understand that. I am.
I get it.
Calm down. I'm saying kudos to them, but no, not everybody can. I know who you're talking to. I'm talking to them.
Yeah.
God damn.
So yeah, that's what I was saying. Like when I saw that, it made me think about what success was and how do people see success. And I feel like social media has skewed the vision of what success is.
I don't think it's skewed.
Whatever.
Shit, I think it's on a whole other motherfucking level.
It's in the multiverse now.
It really is. It really is, because you're over here, spending your little money. You're like some kid and you want to go buy some Gucci shit, and it's like, for what?
You ain't got food on the table.
Right?
Your
No,
bills
you ain't
paid.
even. You're 18 years old and you still living with your mother and your dad. And you over here trying to floss your little belt buckle. Like, what the fuck? Save that money. Go invest that money in some stocks that will grow. And then you can go buy whatever you want later on, maybe in about 5 years. But, I get it. Kids nowadays.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean, we all want what we want.
Kid, until you're 25, you're still pretty well. I want to say I don't want to say 25. I want to say 26. 'Cause 25, you still your oven timer just went off.
What's a whole year, dude?
That's what I'm saying. You're still uncooked. You're still not fully cooked until 25 years old. And I don't even want to add 25. I want to give it an extra year because the timer just barely went off. You're not making real decisions. You're living life on the
I
whims.
feel honestly that those decisions don't start being made, and you really don't start caring what anyone thinks is when you're about 35.
Yeah.
Honestly.
30,
honestly.
35, I give that.
Yeah.
I give you
I don't
that.
even want to say 30. I want to say about 35. That's when ya estás maduro. Like you're ripe. And you done seen some shit and you get it.
You made some failures.
Correct. You've made moves and they haven't worked, and
Yeah.
now it's go time because you're about to hit 40 in 5 years, and what have you done?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so yeah, it kind of hits hard around that time. You're like, and then you see other friends, they're like married, got kids, own a house, got a good
Mm-hmm.
job, making good money, and you're over here still at mom's house, sleeping in the room, paying whatever little
Wake and
rent,
bake.
wake and bake. Yep. You know, and you ain't really done shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, your friends are over here like, you're the last of the Mohicans. Like, you ain't got a bitch. You ain't got shit.
You
Like,
ain't
what are
even
you
got a
doing?
car. You. I gotta
I'm
sit.
picking you up.
You're right.
You ain't even got Uber money. Like,
Right.
what are you doing? Yeah. Living off of your people, you know, just so you can go out to the club with your other homeboys who aren't married, and you know they're younger than you and whatever. Like,
Ain't
it's
got
so
no
many
Uber money.
scenarios, but
Don't be the old person in the club. That's all I
mm.
gotta say. Don't be the old person in the club trying to hook up.
All right, I'm gonna move on.
Let's move on.
All right, so I'm moving on to Kanye West. We did a podcast a while ago. I want to
Uh-huh.
say maybe last year sometime, where we are talking about how Kanye has his woman dressed in practically nothing
Yeah.
and yada yada. And then lately, the man has just been on a whole fucking tirade of saying, you know, fuck the Carters and, you
Hmm.
know, all this shit. Like, he was talking shit about Jay-Z and,
Their
you know,
children.
their
Yeah.
children and all these things, all of these things, which I feel is his mania kicking in, and he ain't got his meds going and he's not right, you know,
Yeah.
and he needs to be on his meds and whatever. So it came up where he was talking about the, you know, Jay-Z and Beyonce,
Hmm.
and one person in there, I want to say,
Where
I,
was this that you're saying this one person?
I don't remember if it was the Shade Room or if it was Hollywood Unlocked.
Hmm.
I'll take a look. But so basically he was trashing them. He's been trashing them and a whole I mean, he's just been going crazy talking about what he's a Nazi and,
Yeah, he's been
you
saying
know,
that.
wearing the black version of the Nazi
Yeah.
outfit, you know, and
Nick's Nan. I saw him in that Nazi out, not Nazi but Klan outfit. Um, when I saw that, I didn't care to see anything that he had to say. I thought that was so disgraceful, so wrong, so just disrespectful
yeah, it was.
that I did not care he could have been telling us about the new equations in relativity and quantum physics, and dropping jewels on the next evolution of mathematics. I didn't give a shit. I was like, Kanye, shut the fuck up forever. I don't want to hear what you got to say. As long as you wearing that motherfucking clan outfit, you can kiss my black ass.
I don't remember where it was at. I want to say it was Hollywood Unlocked. Someone said, "Where's the conservatorship?" So what I had said prior
Hmm.
in the podcast was that I feel
Hmm.
that he married Sensori so that they wouldn't do that. So him and Kim Kardashian were getting a divorce,
Hmm.
and they divorced, and he was on one of his rants and he was going bananas talking shit. And then I it's like I felt the conservatorship just coming.
Yeah.
It's like I felt it. I felt like they're about to do this to him. And then he popped up married to
Yeah.
Sensori, and I feel this is just my opinion. I don't know anybody in fucking Hollywood who can be like, yeah, that's true. I don't know. This is just me. But I feel that he married her and promised her fame and fortune
Hmm.
as long as she didn't do that. And that's why he's been prancing her around in practically nothing, fame and
Hmm.
fortune, you know, and he can do whatever he wants, and she may not legally be able to do that to him because it may cost her everything. And look at how she's just there.
Yeah.
She shows up in whatever outfits he wants to put her in, and she's just there and quiet.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's why he married her, so that they wouldn't do the conservatorship, because she would be the person to do it.
Yeah. I do know that I did hear that they had broken up, and I feel like when that news was broadcasted, I feel like that's when this whole manic episode kicked off.
Hmm.
And next thing you know, he's in a clan rally outfit of his own
He's
design.
been no, but he's been there's been talk about them on and off, and then all of a sudden you
Hmm.
see them and then you don't, and yada yada, rumors, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. But the thing is that he's been unhinged like this even before there were any mentions of them breaking up. And
Hmm.
just today I heard that they were seen out having dinner together.
Yeah, I saw that too, somewhere in Spain,
Sure.
somewhere.
but
Um,
but yeah, that is my take on why no one's done a conservatorship, because they can't legally, they cannot. And that's why I think he married her. I don't think he fell in love like one day to the, like, he literally just broke up with Kim Kardashian and all of a sudden he's married.
yeah,
So I feel that I keep calling it censorship, because that's
conservatorship.
kind of what it is. But conservatorship was gonna happen, and then he did that, and he stopped the train.
No, that sounds very
And now
plausible.
he's a train wreck,
Yeah,
because this
sounds.
dude is just going fucking ape shit on everybody, on everything, and just saying the most outlandish shit ever. And so he calls himself a genius, right?
Mm-hmm.
I heard a song the other day, and this is like his early albums when everybody was like, ooh, Kanye West,
Mm-hmm.
and this dude was a genius.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he really was a genius, and now he's turned into something else. And genius is not the word.
I think that Kanye West, musically, is a savant. I think that he makes really good music when he makes really good music.
Yeah.
I feel all his antics are partial to is part and partial to his whatever his mental disorder is. He said his bipolarism. I believe that that's part of it, but I also think that he does these things for shock and awe value. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But you know the old saying, all press is good press, no matter if it's bad press. And I think that he plays that game. But I also think that back then, I feel like all this stems from his original accident he had.
I was going to go there.
And I think,
Not that we're doctors, because we're not.
yeah. And
These are just opinions.
I think that during that time when he was younger, I think he had more control over it. And I think he had someone to talk to dull it down, which
Mhm.
was his mom.
Yeah.
And social media wasn't as prevalent as it is now
Mhm.
and pervasive in today's environment.
Yeah.
And now I feel that he does not have his mother to help dull that down and tell him, nigga, you tripping. Shut the fuck up. It's your mama talking.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that person, and he just flies off the handle. When it comes to his music, I always thought he was talented. Always thought he was gifted when it came to the music. His fashion and his clothing stuff, that's not really my thing. If people like it, that's great. If people don't like it, that's great too.
Mhm.
I just thought when I saw his Star Wars fashion stuff, I was like, nigga, you just ripped off Star Wars and now you're ripping off bums because you got holes in your shirts. So it wasn't for me, but people liked it. People bought it. Who am I to say anything different? Fashion is fashion.
I mean, yeah.
You have different eyes for fashion. So I never really sweated that. I did not like his shoes, do not like his shoes. But again, that's not my thing, you know what I mean? But I think that that he doesn't have anybody to dull his. I think he has, at this point in time in his life, he has too many yes men and he doesn't have people around him that can set him straight and talk to him direct. And I feel like when you get to a certain level financially, that instead of listening to people that can give you the proper guidance, you kick those people out of your life and you bring in the
Yes.
people that will say that'll just say yes to whatever you're saying.
Yes.
So you're not you're unguided. And no matter how old you are and how old you are, how financially stable you are or rich or whatever, you always need people around you to tell you how it is straight. You need those type of people around you because you may not be seen. I call them the counsel. Everybody needs a counsel. And you can't just fire your counsel because they don't agree with you. You take their work, you take what they have to say and say, okay, I heard that. I don't agree with that, but I'm a do what I'm gonna do. But I heard you. You know what I mean? I don't feel he
No,
has that.
I agree with you. I want to take it back to what you said. I feel like you kind of went astray.
Hmm.
So I think that yes, he made his music. He was a genius, the whole deal, savant, all of that. And he had that accident.
Hmm.
Was he bipolar already? I believe it was already diagnosed.
Hmm.
I think that accident fucked his head up more
Made it worse.
and made it worse.
Hmm.
Yes, and that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. I think that's why we're seeing that because at some point the meds stop working and you got to get like a cocktail that's specific to
Hmm.
you and your brain map or some shit like that,
Hmm.
and he might be like, fuck that shit. I don't want to do that no more. Like I'm fine. And he's not. But, who's he going to listen to? The ones I feel sorry for are his kids because they're going to see this later on in life and watch him spiral,
Yeah.
and all of this it's going to come to an end one day.
Yeah.
I don't know what day, but one day, and he's going to have to settle down. Something's going to happen where he's going to have a mental break,
Hmm.
and it's not going to go good for somebody.
Yeah.
Someone's going to pay the price, not just him.
Yeah. Well, I hope that it doesn't come to that. I hope that he can get his shit together mentally. Because I feel like a lot of this is that we see from Kanye is manic episodes,
Yeah.
outbursts,
Mania.
and yeah, mania. And and
Every time I see somebody post about him, like that's the first thing I say is mania
yeah,
because everybody's like, oh, he's this, he's that. It's like, no, he's not well. It's not that he's crazy. He's not well.
yeah,
It has nothing to do with craziness. It has everything to do with needing medication to rectify, I
yeah,
feel. But this is my opinion. I don't fucking know. I ain't a doctor.
yeah.
This is
Me
just
neither.
me,
Just my observations that I
correct.
see based on what he's giving us in social media
Yeah.
and just on camera. Period.
Yeah.
I hope I wish him all the best. I hope that he can get it together and get past that because I'd like to listen to his music, but if he keeps up with the antics, he's
I
gonna
mean, for
he's gonna
me,
be exiled.
no, but for me at this point, like I don't even want to listen to him.
Hmm.
Not the music, just him, period. Like it kind of pisses me off that these blogs and stuff and anyone that reports on him because you're reporting mental illness and you're allowing the world to have an opinion about someone who's not well mentally,
Hmm.
and that's horrible
Yeah.
because eventually, like I said, his kids are going to get wind of this and they're going to, have to deal with that, and it's just very sad.
Was it the sins of the father type of
Yeah.
situation?
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel for the kids that I mean they're old enough. They're probably already getting some of that right now, but I feel for the kids that they don't deserve to have that kind of dramas.
Yeah.
Um, Regardless of whatever he's going through with his relationships with the women that he's involved in or involved with. Um, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
That's
No.
neither here or
No,
there.
it like I said, it makes me angry to see these accounts, talk about him and, all these people are giving their opinion. And I feel that they're not informed on what's really going on with him.
Yeah.
but maybe I'm not either, you
Yeah,
know.
well, like I said, any press is good press when you get to a certain level.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna switch it up again.
What you got?
So I went to the supermarket a few weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to Vallarta
Yeah.
because I wanted to take some sweetbread to work.
Hold on. For
Oh
the
my
people
god!
for the people that don't know, can you please explain to them what
I thought you were
Vallarta
about to
is?
talk shit. I was like, oh god.
Can you tell them what Vallarta is?
If you don't know, Vallarta is a store that sells food. It's a supermarket, but mainly for Hispanic people, and they sell good shit. Some people don't like it, but
Yeah, I ain't
it's
fucking with them. I got my own reasons, not because of anything else, but
no, it's cool. Like if you go in there, depending on the size of the store, they all most stores have their butcher counter, their
yeah,
meats and whatever,
it's
and
a supermarket.
they also make their own food
Mhm.
from scratch, type of thing, and like chicken and pork and whatever, it's all cooked. You can go in there, get some lunch, yada yada, vegetables, the whole nine, just like a regular supermarket.
Mhm.
So I decided to go one morning because I wanted to take some pan dulce, some sweet bread, to work for my coworkers and for myself. So I went into the store and I had my tote bag. If you don't know what a tote bag is, it's a big ass fucking purse.
Where she be stealing.
Be
No,
stealing.
I'm just joking. I'm just
Uh,
joking.
it's a big tote bag where I carry my life.
Good for thieving. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I go into the store and I go to that section of the store and there's sweet bread everywhere. So I'm getting a bag, a plastic bag, and I'm filling it with a few pieces of bread. And as I'm standing there, this guy is standing behind me, and I'm like, oh, like I'll be done in a moment. And as most of you can see, I'm a big woman. I'm short, but I'm big, and and I know how to wield it. I know how to wield it. So I'm dressed for work. I got my big ass purse, filling up my bag, and this dude's just standing there, and he's checking me out, but not like in the sense of like, she looks good. In the sense of, can I take this bitch? And I saw him do this, and
Mhm.
I'm watching him, and I'm like, what the fuck? This motherfucker just checked me out. Like, checked me out. And I was like, let me wrap it up so I could go.
Mhm.
So I wrap it up and I go, to another section of the store. This dude got his little piece of bread and follows me.
Mhm.
He follows me down an aisle. And I'm thinking he ain't going to follow me down this aisle. He followed me down the fucking aisle. And he's sizing me the fuck up. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to take this motherfucker out. I'm about to start grabbing anything and everything to fuck this dude up because he's sizing me up. I'm assuming he wants to steal my purse.
Mhm.
That's the assumption that I have in my mind, but he's following me. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go down this other aisle.
Mhm.
And if he goes into that same aisle I'm in, he's definitely following me. And he does. So there was another lady in that aisle, and and I stopped and he stopped,
Mhm.
and I decided to walk past him.
Okay.
And I'm just like, if it's going to go down, it's going to go down right now. If he does anything, it's happening right now in front of this lady. So I walked past him. Of course, hindsight is always 2020. I shouldn't have done that. I should have, kept it going into the next aisle, something. But
Yeah.
no, my fucking bold ass was like, no, this is going down. It's going down with pops, because he was a tall man. I'm short.
Yeah.
He was a taller man, and he looked like, he wasn't muscular, but he looked like, maybe he does go to the gym or he works out or does something,
He's a man.
he's a man. And I'm just like, oh, and I mentally have prepared myself for this man attacking me in some way. So I walked past him, and he's sizing me up again, but this time I'm sizing him up back. And the lady just looks at us,
Mm-hmm.
and I walked past him, and I was like, let me go back to the counter where they make the food. So I
Yeah.
go back to the counter where they make the food, and I look back, and he's kind of just standing there watching me. And then finally he goes to the checkout and, tries to, or is checking out. And I'm standing there like, I'm going to buy something else. Cause I'll be damned if this motherfucker is going to get me inside the store. And the thing is that you think that you're in a store and that people are going to help you. Well, I've seen enough videos to where I've seen no one help.
Yeah.
They just stand there and watch as things happen
And record.
and record. Yeah. And I didn't want to be that person. So I was like, I'm going to give him all I've got.
Yeah, because I didn't want to have to see you on social media in a fight. I'm just scrolling like, hey, she looks familiar.
Fighting a fucking man.
At Vallarta.
So, yeah. So I went and I bought some more shit, some food, and I took it to work or whatever.
Yeah.
And when I walked out, my head was on a fucking swivel.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what if he's standing out there waiting for me? It is 7:40 in the motherfucking morning. There's not that many people. There's people out, but there ain't that many people. And again, some people will not get in and jump in and fight with you or for you or whatever.
Get involved.
Yeah. They don't want to be a part of that. They're just like, oh, I'm gonna watch. Let me record real quick. I'm gonna sell this story.
I'll call the police afterwards. Let me get the angles.
Yeah, I mentally I prepared myself really, because I really thought like this dude's he sized me up so many times. Like he was really gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And all he was gonna get was $28 because that's all I had in cash in my purse. $28 is $28. Could have bought him some more bread, but he sized me up, and I have never, honestly, because I'm a big woman, I'm not looked at like that, like skinny women are, which I am grateful for, because I don't want to get fucking robbed or fucked with or stolen, fucking whatever they do, traffic you and all of that shit. Not saying that it's okay. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to go through that, and people don't look at me like that. So they kind of ignore me, which I kind of like. Not that day. That day, this motherfucker was sizing me up, and he was getting ready to fucking steal my purse. I don't know what the fuck he planned on. He just had this look on his face, and I was just like,
yeah. I don't think that it matters what type of woman you are. If someone's about to do crime is always about opportunity, and if the opportunity presented himself where he felt comfortable enough to do it, that was going to happen regardless of what.
And he looked, I'm telling you, David, like. The way he looked at me was like, yeah, bitch, I'm about to take that purse, or I'm about to do something. And I was just like, he could have the purse. Don't fucking hurt me though. Yeah. Because if you start punching me, I'm going to see red, and I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm a backup or if I'm. So when I've learned in my years, when I've been put in danger, I get angry. I get fucking angry. I don't know why, but I do. And something in me decides I got to do something about it. You know what I mean? Like, I got to say something. I got to do something. I don't know why. Fight or flight. I fight, and that's just kind of me. I've been in danger before in my youth, and I think back then I just didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever. I don't care. Let's throw down. I don't care, whatever. Mm-hmm. But now as an adult, as a grown fucking woman, my life being put in danger makes me so angry, and I react.
Yeah.
and not in a good way.
Yeah. I just think that with all women, they should always, when they're by themselves, just to have some kind of environmental awareness,
Yes.
because not just a man attacking you, but anything could be happening.
No, absolutely.
You could just be walking around like do
I mean, we've had
do,
that happen.
and shit just is happening out of the blue.
Yeah.
You know, other acts of violence that don't even concern you, or an accident is happening, and you know a
No, I know.
vehicle is coming your way and you're not paying attention.
You're on your cell phone, which I was not. I was not on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very aware of my surroundings, and that's how I clocked him, because I watch who's around me, what's going on. I try to,
Yeah.
because I don't want to be another statistic who's on her cell phone, too busy, not paying attention when this guy's over here stalking me because he wants my purse, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Like you never know. You just never know.
When you're out in the wild, and that's what I call just being outside of your home. When you're out in the wild, anything can happen. So
Yeah.
you always have to have your head on a swivel. Even me, um, being as big as I am,
No, I know.
even I keep my head on a swivel
Just
when
don't
I'm
get
out.
comfortable with being out in the world and thinking that you're safe, because
Shit
you
ain't sweet.
never are.
Shit ain't
Women,
sweet.
especially, women are not safe in the world. Especially the little skinny ones. Like, those are the ones that are getting trafficked and abducted because they're so small and shit.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, But I say that because they're small, that happens. And like, but any woman out there, like, oh man, it breaks my heart. The old ladies, like, I'm an old lady. But I'm talking about your 70s and your 80-year-olds
Your
out here,
grandmas.
pulling out their little money out their purse. Somebody's watching them. Like, I fear for them big
The
time.
meemaws.
Yeah, the
With the little
meemaws.
social security money.
Yes, but women are always in danger. And my message to ladies out there is just watch your surroundings and make sure that if you're by yourself, you know, try not to be by yourself for too long. Try to be around other people and watch who's around you, because people are fucking disgusting, especially a lot of men. Not all men, but a lot of men.
My advice to women is, when you're out by yourself, trust that you are not safe.
Yeah.
Just believe you are not safe. And it sounds fucked up, like you should feel safe wherever you go, but
Yeah.
the reality is that's not the case.
No.
And again, it's not so much. I'm not saying it's men. I'm just saying in general.
No, I know.
Even men don't trust that you are safe,
Well, no.
because anything can happen at any given moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be violence,
No.
but it could be
They want your little Gucci belt buckle.
No, I'm not, but
I'm
that's
just
violence.
saying.
I'm not saying that
That's
it's
not violence if they steal your little buckle.
it is violence if they steal it off of your body while you wearing it. What
Whatever.
I'm saying is anything could happen. You could be walking down the street on your phone, not paying attention, go across the street and get hit by a bus. Why? Because you ain't paying attention. Nothing is safe.
No,
in the
I
environment.
absolutely know, but I'm talking about human to human interaction. Another human being engaging with you, but not in a nice way. Men have that problem too. You might be walking down the street looking fresh in your shit, and here comes some fucking loser who wants your shit because he can't afford. The way he comes up is by taking shit from motherfuckers like you. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. I'm
No, I
not
get
talking
it.
about getting hit by a fucking car or a bus or none of that. I'm talking about Rando over there has been watching me the whole time. I'm a man, and he's been watching me, and he's been looking at my fucking new Jordans, and he wants them, and he's looking like, I could fit those.
I get that, but that's not what I was saying.
I know that's not what you were saying. That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
I understand. My point is, any and everyone.
Just
you're
don't go
not-
outside.
No, you just when you go outside, you need to pay attention.
Just don't go
You
outside.
just need to pay attention to your surroundings when you go outside. Period. I see too many people that don't pay attention.
No, absolutely.
They're too busy glued to their phone or too busy not paying attention to what's going on around them to realize that there's something happening. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
But yeah, that's my message to all the peoples out there. Be careful
mhm,
because there's always somebody watching and there's always somebody wanting your shit, pretty much.
yeah.
So yeah.
So anything else that we got?
Peace.
Peace.